Hey guys, tonight we stand at the edge of a storm, your life's chaos swirling like a relentless wind, tugging at your focus, your peace, your very core. Imagine the noise notifications pinging, deadlines looming, voices demanding your attention. It's loud, it's messy. And let's be real, you probably won't survive this unscathed unless you learn to master your mind. That's where Epictetus, the Stoic sage who laughed at fate, comes in. His lessons of the discourses aren't dusty old words. They're a battle plan for conquering chaos, finding tranquility, and building friendships that lift you higher. Tonight, we're diving into his timeless wisdom to tame the storm inside you, with practical tools like journaling to make it stick. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. Picture yourself now, unshaken, standing firm as the world roars around you. Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." We'll unpack that, step by step, turning ancient insights into modern strength. Now, dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. Picture a man in ancient Rome, once enslaved, now free in spirit, teaching in a sunlit courtyard. Epictetus didn't just survive, he thrived, because he mastered his mind. His words in the discourses show us how to find calm in chaos, build bonds that matter, and resist pressures that threaten to break us. Let's walk his path, starting with a story of a friend who faced a crushing setback but found strength in Stoic wisdom. Number 1. Introduction to a modern Stoic journey. Raleigh, my friend. Welcome to Part 2, Voyage into the Timeless Wisdom of Stoicism, a philosophy that's not just a relic of ancient scrolls, but a living, breathing guide for today's chaotic world. I'm so glad you're here, settling in with me to explore Part 2 of Epictetus's Discourses videos. Together, we'll uncover practical applications of Stoic thought, how to find tranquility amidst the storm, how to nurture friendships rooted in virtue, and how to stand tall against the relentless pressures of the outside world. This isn't a lecture, it's a conversation, a warm invitation to reflect, grow, and find peace. Imagine for a moment the noise of your day, the ping of notifications, the weight of deadlines, the clamor of opinions swirling around you. Now, contrast that with a stillness, a quiet space where your mind rests, unshaken, rooted in what truly matters. That's what Stoicism promises, and it's what we'll build together over the next hour. Through the voices of Stoic legends Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, we'll weave a tapestry of ancient insight and modern relevance, threaded with practical tools like journaling and reflection to make this philosophy yours. Why Stoicism? Why now? Stoicism was born in the bustling markets of Athens and honed in the marble halls of Rome. Yet it feels tailor-made for us today. We live in an age of excess, too much information, too many demands, too little time to breathe. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor who scribbled his meditations by candlelight between battles, knew this tension well. He wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That's our starting point, a recognition that peace doesn't come from silencing the world, but from mastering ourselves. Seneca, the statesman who faced exile and betrayal, reminds us that life is short but rich if we live it with purpose. And Epictetus, once enslaved yet freer in spirit than most, teaches us that happiness lies in what we can control: our thoughts, our choices, our character. These three giants will be our guides, their words echoing across centuries to meet us right where we stand. In this video, we're not just admiring their ideas, we're putting them to work. We'll explore three pillars from the Epictetus's discourses: tranquility, friendship, and resisting external pressures. Each is a gift, a way to reclaim your agency in a world that often feels like it's spinning out of control. And don't worry, I'll keep it simple, relatable, and warm. Like a chat over coffee with an old friend who's been through the ringer and come out wiser. What lies ahead? Here's the path we'll walk together. First, we'll dive into tranquility, that serene state the Stoics called ataraxia. It's not about escaping life's chaos, but finding stillness within it, using tools like the dichotomy of control to let go of what we can't change and embrace what we can. Next, we'll explore friendship, or philia, not the fleeting, transactional kind, but the deep, virtuous bond that lifts us up and reflects our best selves. Finally, we'll tackle resisting external pressures, drawing on Stoic courage to hold fast to our principles when the world demands we bend. Along the way, I'll share stories, some from dusty history, others from the messy, beautiful reality of today. You'll hear Marcus Aurelius wrestling with duty, Seneca facing mortality, and Epictetus laughing at fate. We'll pause for internal dialogue prompts, little nudges to engage your ego, question it, and redirect it toward wisdom. And I'll offer practical exercises, like journaling prompts, to turn these ideas into action. This isn't passive listening, it's an invitation to participate, to make Stoicism a living practice. Before we dive in, take a breath. Feel the air fill your lungs, then release it slowly. Notice the tension in your shoulders, the chatter in your mind. What brought you here today? Maybe it's a longing for peace, a hunger for connection, or a need to stand firm in a world that pulls you in every direction. Whatever it is, hold it gently in your thoughts. This is your starting point, and it's perfect. Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." That's our mantra for the next hour. The noise of life will keep buzzing, but we'll find the stillness beneath it. The pressures will push, but we'll push back with purpose. And through it all, we'll build a friendship not just with others, but with ourselves. So, are you ready? Let's step into this together, into tranquility, into virtue, into strength. The Stoics are waiting, and they've saved us a seat. Number 2, the art of tranquility, a Stoic path to inner peace. Welcome back, my friend. We've set the stage for our journey, and now it's time to step into the first pillar of Stoic wisdom: tranquility. In Stoicism, tranquility isn't just a fleeting moment of calm, it's a way of being, a steady state of mind that we can cultivate, no matter what life throws at us. The Greeks called it ataraxia, a serene freedom from disturbance, and it's the heart of what we're seeking today. But let's be real, in a world that never stops buzzing, tranquility can feel like a distant dream. The demands of work, the noise of social media, the endless to-do lists. It's easy to feel like we're always one step away from overwhelm. Yet, the Stoics knew something profound. Peace doesn't come from silencing the world. It comes from mastering ourselves. It's about finding stillness, not despite the chaos, but within it. So, how do we get there? Let's walk through this together, drawing on the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, three Stoic legends who faced their own storms and emerged unshaken. Their words will be our compass, and I'll share some modern twists to make this ancient wisdom feel like it was written just for you. What is tranquility? Really, tranquility, or ataraxia, is often misunderstood. It's not about apathy or detachment, nor is it about escaping to a mountaintop to avoid life's messiness. Instead, it's about engaging fully with the world while maintaining an inner calm. It's the ability to face challenges, setbacks, and even joys without being thrown off balance. Think of it as a ship that stays steady, no matter how rough the seas. Epictetus, who began life as a slave and rose to become one of history's greatest teachers, put it beautifully. Freedom is the name of virtue, for a man is free when he lives as he wishes, and is not compelled or hindered or forced or impeded. True freedom, and thus tranquility, comes from within, from living in alignment with our values and not being tossed around by external events. But how do we live this way? How do we stop letting the world's noise dictate our inner weather? That's where the Stoics' most practical tool comes in the dichotomy of control. The dichotomy of control, your Stoic superpower. At the core of Stoic tranquility is a simple but life-changing idea. Some things are within our control, and some are not. Our power lies in focusing on what we can control: our thoughts, our actions, our responses, and letting go of what we can't: other people's opinions, the weather, the economy, or even the outcome of our efforts. Marcus Aurelius, who ruled an empire while battling his own doubts and fears, wrote in his Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This is the dichotomy of control in action. It's not about ignoring the world, but about choosing where to place our energy. Let me give you a simple example. Imagine you're stuck in traffic on your way to an important meeting. The cars aren't moving, the clock is ticking, and frustration starts bubbling up. Now, you can't control the traffic that's outside your power, but you can control how you respond. You could fume and honk, letting the situation ruin your day, or you could accept it, take a deep breath, and use the time to reflect or listen to something inspiring. The traffic hasn't changed, but your experience of it has. This might sound small, but it's everything. Every day, we face countless moments where we can choose to cling to what we can't control, or to focus on what we can. And each choice either builds our tranquility or chips away at it. Stoic legends on tranquility. Let's hear from our guides. Seneca, the Stoic philosopher who faced political intrigue and exile, knew a thing or two about maintaining calm under pressure. He wrote, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." How often do we let our minds spiral into worst-case scenarios, creating storms that never actually arrive? Tranquility, for Seneca, was about reining in that imagination, staying grounded in the present moment. Then there's Epictetus, who taught that it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. His life was a testament to this despite being enslaved. He found freedom in his mind, unshackled by circumstance. And Marcus Aurelius, the emperor who could have had anything, chose to remind himself daily that the universe is change. Our life is what our thoughts make it. These aren't just pretty words, they're battle-tested truths from men who lived through war, loss, and uncertainty, yet found peace. And if they could do it, so can we. Modern tranquility bringing it home. Now, let's make this real for you. Think about a recent situation where you felt stressed or anxious. Maybe it was a work deadline, a conflict with a friend, or just the weight of too many responsibilities. Take a moment to recall it, feel the tension in your body, the racing thoughts. Now, ask yourself what parts of that situation were within your control, your preparation, your communication, your attitude, and what parts were not. Other people's reactions, unexpected delays, the final outcome. Here's where the magic happens. When we focus on what we can control, we reclaim our power. We stop wasting energy on what's out of reach and start acting with purpose. It's not about perfection, it's about progress, about making peace with the fact that we're doing our best, and that's enough. Let me share a personal story. A few years ago, I was launching a project I'd poured my heart into. The night before, I couldn't sleep, my mind racing with what ifs. What if it fails? What if no one shows up? What if I've wasted all this time? Then, I remembered Seneca's words, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." So, I took a breath and asked myself, what can I control right now? I could double-check my work. I could rest so I'd be sharp, and I could trust that I'd done my best. The outcome that was out of my hands. And you know what? The project went well, but even if it hadn't, I'd found peace in knowing I'd controlled what I could. That's tranquility in action. It's not about never feeling stress. It's about not letting stress own you. Internal dialogue. Engaging your ego. Now, let's pause for a moment of reflection. I want you to engage with that voice inside your head, the one that sometimes whispers doubts or shouts fears. This is your ego, and it's not your enemy. It's just misguided sometimes. Stoicism teaches us to gently redirect it, to align it with reason and virtue. Ask yourself, what am I clinging to that I can't control? Is it someone's approval? A perfect outcome? A fear of failure? Now, imagine letting it go, like releasing a balloon into the sky. Feel the weight lift. Then, ask, what can I control right now? Maybe it's taking a small step, speaking kindly to yourself, or simply accepting that you're human. This is the work. It's not always easy, but it's always worth it. Journaling for tranquility. To deepen this practice, I encourage you to try journaling. It's a Stoic tool for self-reflection, a way to clarify your thoughts and track your progress. Here's a simple prompt to get you started. Think of a recent situation where you felt overwhelmed. Write down what happened, how you felt, and how you reacted. Now, identify what was within your control and what wasn't. Be honest, sometimes we trick ourselves into thinking we can control more than we can. Finally, reflect on how you could respond differently next time. What small shift in perspective or action could bring you more peace? Don't worry about writing perfectly, just let your thoughts flow. This is for you, a quiet space to practice tranquility. A bridge to friendship. As we wrap up this section, I want to leave you with a thought from Seneca about the connection between tranquility and friendship. He said, "Friendship, moreover, is a help to the young, in saving them from mistakes, to the old, in ministering to their wants, to those in the prime of life, in inciting them to noble deeds. Tranquility isn't a solitary pursuit. It's enriched by the company we keep, by the bonds we forge with others who lift us up. In our next part, we'll explore what true friendship means in Stoicism, not the shallow, transactional kind, but the deep, virtuous connection that helps us grow. We'll see how the Stoics viewed friends as mirrors of our own character, and how cultivating these relationships can be a path to both tranquility and virtue. But for now, take a moment to savor the stillness you've begun to cultivate. You're already on the path just by being here, by listening, by reflecting. That's no small thing. Number 3, friendship as a Stoic virtue. A bond beyond the surface. We've begun to anchor ourselves in tranquility, that steady inner peace the Stoics called ataraxia. Now, let's extend that calm into the world around us, into the realm of friendship. In Stoicism, friendship isn't just a pleasant bonus, it's a vital expression of virtue, a mirror of our character, and a path to a richer, more meaningful life. The Stoics, Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus saw friendship as more than casual companionship. It's not about fleeting connections or what someone can do for you. Instead, it's a deep, intentional bond rooted in mutual respect, shared values, and the pursuit of the good. Today, we'll explore what that looks like, why it matters, and how to cultivate it in our modern lives. Friendship in the Stoic lens. For the Stoics, friendship, philia in Greek, is an extension of living virtuously. It's about connecting with others in a way that reflects wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance. The 4 cardinal virtues we'll dive into later. A true friend, in this view, isn't just someone you enjoy. They're someone who helps you grow, who challenges you to be better, and who shares in the pursuit of a life well lived. Seneca, the philosopher who navigated the treacherous waters of Roman politics, wrote beautifully about this. Ponder for a long time whether you shall admit a given person to your friendship, but when you have decided to admit him, welcome him with all your heart and soul. This isn't a call for blind trust. It's a reminder to choose wisely, then commit fully. Friendship, to Seneca, was a deliberate act, not a haphazard one. Marcus Aurelius, the emperor who faced endless demands, saw friends as a source of strength. In Meditations, he reflects on the people around him. I am thankful to those who taught me to work together with others, to understand human frailty, and to live according to nature. His friends weren't just company, they were teachers, mirrors reflecting his own humanity back to him. And Epictetus, ever practical, framed it simply, if you wish to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid with regard to external things. A Stoic friend doesn't flatter your ego, they support your growth, even when it's uncomfortable. Why friendship matters. In a world obsessed with likes, follows, and shallow metrics of connection, Stoic friendship stands apart. It's not about quantity, it's about quality. The Stoics believe that true friends help us live in alignment with reason and virtue, pulling us back when we stray and celebrating when we thrive. They're partners in the art of living. Think about it, how often do we feel truly seen by another person, not just liked or admired, but understood, flaws and all? That's the gift of a Stoic friendship. It's a relationship where both people can be honest, vulnerable, and real, without fear of judgment. And in that space, tranquility deepens, because we're no longer alone in facing life's storms. Seneca ties this back to our last chapter, saying, "Friendship produces between us a partnership in all our interests. A tranquil mind," he suggests, "is enriched by the presence of others who share our values, people who steady us when we waver." The qualities of a Stoic friend. So, what makes a friend Stoic? It's not about quoting philosophy or wearing a toga, though that might be fun. It's about embodying certain traits. Honesty. They tell you the truth, not just what you want to hear, because they care about your growth. Reliability. They're there when it counts, not swayed by convenience or mood. Independence. They don't cling or demand, they respect your freedom and their own. Virtue. They strive to live well, inspiring you to do the same. Imagine a friend who listens when you're struggling, not to fix you, but to understand. Who celebrates your wins without envy. Who gently points out when you're off track, not to criticize, but to help. That's the Stoic ideal, a bond that elevates both of you. Cultivating Stoic friendship today. Now, let's bring this home. Building these kinds of friendships isn't always easy in our fast-paced, distracted world, but it's worth the effort. Here's how to start. Wanna be the friend you seek. The Stoics teach us to focus on what we can control ourselves. Want honest, virtuous friends. Start by being honest and virtuous. Show up with integrity, listen deeply, and act with kindness. 2. Choose wisely. Seneca's advice about pondering who to let in still holds. Look for people who share your values not perfectly, but in essence. People who lift you up, not drag you down. 3. Invest. Time. Deep bonds don't form overnight. Share experiences, have real conversations, and let trust grow naturally. Let go of the rest. Not every connection needs to be profound. Some people are acquaintances, and that's okay. Reserve your energy for those who truly matter. A personal example, I once had a friend who'd call me out when I was overthinking or avoiding a tough choice. It wasn't always comfortable, but it was invaluable. Over time, I learned to do the same for them, not out of obligation, but because we both wanted to live better. That's Stoic friendship in action. Reflection. Your circle of virtue. Take a moment to think about your own friendships. Who in your life reflects these qualities? Who challenges you to be your best self? And just as important, how are you showing up for them? Here's a journaling prompt to explore this. Write about a friend who's shaped you for the better. What do they do that strengthens you? How do you strengthen them in return? Consider one way you could deepen that bond. Maybe it's a conversation, an act of support, or simply saying thank you. This isn't about judging your current friends. It's about seeing where virtue already lives and how you can nurture it. A bridge to virtue. Friendship, in Stoicism, is a stepping stone to the bigger picture, a life of virtue. The people we surround ourselves with shape how we navigate the world, how we practice courage, temperance, justice, and wisdom. In our next chapter, we'll dive into these 4 virtues, the bedrock of Stoic philosophy, and see how they tie back to the tranquility and connection we're building here. For now, hold this thought from Seneca: associate with those who will make you better. That's the heart of Stoic friendship, a shared journey toward the good. Number 4, the 4 Stoic virtues. Building a life worth living. Hey there. We've been on quite a journey together, haven't we? We've talked about finding tranquility in chaos, building friendships rooted in virtue, and standing firm against the pressures of the world. Now, we're going to tie it all together with something foundational to Stoicism, the 4 cardinal virtues. These are the building blocks of a good life: wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. And they're what Epictetus, Marcus Aurelius, and Seneca leaned on to navigate their own challenges. In discourses, Epictetus doesn't just throw out abstract ideas, he shows us how to live them. The virtues aren't lofty goals to admire from afar. They're tools you can pick up and use every single day. So, let's unpack each one, see how they connect to what we've already explored, and figure out how to weave them into our lives. Grab a coffee or a tea, if that's your vibe, and let's dive in. The 4 virtues. A Stoic compass. The Stoics believe that if you live by these 4 virtues, you're on the path to eudaimonia, a flourishing, meaningful life. They're not separate silos. They overlap and strengthen each other. Think of them like the legs of a table. Miss one, and the whole thing wobbles. Together, they hold up everything we've been talking about: peace, connection, and integrity. 1. Wisdom. Seeing clearly. Wisdom, or phronesis, is the ability to know what's true and good, and to act on it. It's the root of tranquility because it helps us sort out what we can control from what we can't. Epictetus hammers this home in discourses. Some things are up to us, and some things are not. That's wisdom in action, focusing our energy where it matters. How it applies. Remember the traffic jam we talked about? Wisdom is realizing the delay isn't yours to fix, but your reaction is. It's asking, what's the best way to handle this instead of spiraling into frustration? Try this. Next time you're stressed, pause and ask, what's in my control here? Write it down if you can. It's amazing how clarity cuts through the noise. 2. Courage. Acting despite fear. We dug into courage when we talked about resisting external pressures. But let's zoom out a bit. Courage isn't just defiance. It's the willingness to do what's right, even when it's hard. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That's courage, owning your choices. How it applies. It's saying no to a shortcut that compromises your values, or speaking up for a friend when it'd be easier to stay quiet. It's the grit behind standing firm. Try this. Think of one small act of courage you can do today. Maybe it's having a tough conversation or sticking to a boundary. Start small. Courage grows with practice. 3. Justice. Living for others. Justice is about fairness, kindness, and doing right by people, not because they deserve it, but because it's who you are. In Stoic friendship, this shines through. Epictetus saw relationships as a chance to practice virtue together, saying, "What need is there to discuss the duties of a friend? Show yourself to be a friend." How it applies. It's choosing friends who lift you up and challenging each other to be better. It's also treating everyone, strangers included, with respect, because that's what a just life looks like. Try this. Reflect on one relationship in your life. How can you show up more fully as a friend, colleague, or neighbor? Maybe it's a kind word or a listening ear. 4. Temperance. Mastering yourself. Temperance is self-control, the ability to moderate your desires and emotions. It's the quiet strength that keeps tranquility alive. Seneca nailed it when he said, Most powerful is he who has himself in his own power. It's not about deprivation, it's about freedom from being ruled by impulses. How it applies: it's resisting the urge to snap in anger or chase every shiny distraction. It's the discipline to stick to what matters, even when it's not flashy. Try this. Pick one habit you'd like to temper, maybe scrolling less or eating mindfully. Set a tiny goal for today and see how it feels to choose restraint. Connecting the dots. Here's the beauty of it: these virtues don't stand alone. Wisdom guides courage, so you act bravely for the right reasons. Justice fuels friendship, building bonds that reflect your values. Temperance steadies tranquility, keeping you grounded when life gets loud. And courage, it's the thread that ties them all together, giving you the guts to live them out. Let's bring it to life with a story. Imagine you're at work, and a colleague takes credit for your idea. Wisdom says, "I can't control their actions, but I can control mine." Courage steps in. "I'll speak up calmly, not out of spite, but because it's right." Justice adds, "I'll do it fairly, without malice." And temperance keeps you from boiling over into a rant. That's stoicism in action: practical, human, and real. Internal dialogue. A mirror for the soul. Let's pause for some self-reflection, because that's where the rubber meets the road. Ask yourself, which virtue feels strongest in me right now? Is it wisdom, courage, justice, or temperance? Which one do I struggle with most? What's holding me back from leaning into it? How can I practice one of these today? Pick one and imagine how it could shift your day. Your ego might squirm here. It likes comfort, not challenge. But the Stoics would say that's a good sign. Growth lives on the edge of unease. A journaling exercise to make this stick. Grab a notebook and try this. Write down a situation where you could use one of these virtues. Maybe it's a conflict, a temptation, or a chance to help someone. Pick one virtue to focus on. How would it change your approach? Jot down one action you'll take. Keep it simple. Small steps build big habits. For example, I get impatient waiting in line. I'll use temperance to stay calm and breathe instead of grumbling. Action. Take 3 slow breaths next time. Looking ahead. The 4 virtues aren't a finish line, they're a practice. Epictetus didn't expect perfection. He wanted progress. And that's what we're after here: a little more wisdom, a little more courage. Each day. In our next part, we'll wrap up with a deep dive into how to keep this going. Practical habits like journaling and reflection to make stoicism a living, breathing part of your life. For now, take this from Marcus Aurelius to heart waste. No more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. Number 5. Resisting external pressures. Staying true in a storm. We've walked a path together, finding tranquility, building virtuous friendships, and grounding ourselves in the 4 Stoic virtues: wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. Now, we face a new challenge. How do we hold fast to these principles when the world pulls us in every direction? Life has a way of testing us through expectations, distractions, or outright chaos. Now, we speak about resisting external pressures, about standing firm in who we are when everything else tries to shake us. The Stoics knew this struggle well. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire, Seneca navigated treacherous politics, and Epictetus rose from slavery. Each faced external forces that could have broken them, yet they stayed anchored. How by focusing on what's within their control, their thoughts, their choices, their character. That's the secret we'll unpack today. Resilience through Stoic clarity. The pressure of the world. Let's start with the obvious. We're surrounded by pressures. Society tells us to chase success, to fear failure, to crave approval. Advertisements push us to buy more. Social media tempts us to compare. And even well-meaning loved ones can nudge us off our path. These forces aren't evil, they're just loud. And if we're not careful, they drown out our inner compass. The Stoics saw this as a universal truth. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. The world will always clamor for your attention, but you don't have to give it." Resilience begins with knowing where your power lies. Step 1. Wisdom to see through the noise. Wisdom is your first shield. It's the ability to cut through the chaos and ask, what really matters here when external pressures mount, say, a boss demanding overtime or a trend urging you to overspend? Wisdom steps in. It reminds you of Epictetus' golden rule: some things are up to us, and some things are not. Try this next time you feel overwhelmed by an expectation. Pause and ask, is this in my control? If it's not like someone's opinion or a sudden setback, let it go. If it is like your response or your effort, focus there. Wisdom filters the noise, leaving only what's yours to carry. Seneca put it this way: we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. How often do we stress over what might happen, letting external whispers amplify our fears? Wisdom silences that echo, bringing us back to the present. Step 2. Courage to stand firm. Courage is what lets you act on that clarity, even when it's hard. It's not about defiance or bravado, it's about quiet resolve. Maybe it's saying no to a request that clashes with your values, or stepping away from a toxic situation. Courage says, I'll choose my path, not the one forced on me. Marcus Aurelius faced this daily, amid war and betrayal. He wrote, "What need is there to weep over parts of life? The whole of it calls for tears." Yet he didn't crumble, he acted with purpose. Courage isn't ignoring the storm, it's walking through it with your head up. A practical move when pressure tempts you to bend. Maybe to please someone or avoid conflict, take a breath and ask, what would my best self do? Then do it, even if your voice shakes. That's courage in action. Step 3. Justice to anchor your purpose. Justice keeps you grounded in something bigger than yourself. External pressures often pull us inward into selfishness or fear, but justice pulls us outward, toward fairness and connection. It's the virtue that asks, how can I act rightly? Even now. Think of a time when stress made you snap at someone undeserving. Justice steps in to say, this isn't who I am. It's not just about resisting pressure, it's about responding with integrity. Epictetus, who owned nothing but his will, taught, no one can harm you unless you let them harm your character. Justice protects that character. Try this when the world pushes you to compromise. Reflect. Does this serve the good of myself, of others? If not, adjust course. It's a simple check that keeps you aligned. Step 4. Temperance to stay steady. Finally, temperance, the art of balance. External pressures thrive on excess, too much worry, too much ambition, too much reaction. Temperance pulls you back to the middle. It's the calm voice saying, enough. Seneca warned, To be everywhere is to be nowhere. When we let the world dictate our pace, rushing from task to task, chasing every demand, we lose ourselves. Temperance is the antidote. It's choosing depth over frenzy, presence over distraction. A daily habit, set a limit. Maybe it's 10 minutes less on your phone, or one less yes to an overfull schedule. Small acts of restraint build a wall against the flood of external noise. A Stoic practice, the evening reflection. Here's a tool to tie it all together: the Stoic evening reflection. At day's end, sit quietly and ask, what pressures did I face today? Where did I resist well with wisdom, courage, justice, or temperance? Where did I falter? And how can I grow tomorrow? Marcus Aurelius did this, reviewing his actions against his principles. It's not about guilt, it's about clarity. Each night, you refine your resilience, sharpening your ability to stand tall. The reward: unshakable peace. Resisting external pressures isn't about winning a battle, it's about claiming your freedom. The Stoics promise that when you live by virtue, no storm can uproot you. The best revenge, Epictetus said, is to be unlike him who performed the injury. When the world pushes, you don't push back, you rise above. Next time, we'll explore how to turn setbacks into growth, using Stoic techniques to transform adversity into strength. For now, carry this from Seneca: difficulty strengthens the mind, as labor does the body. You're stronger than you know. Number 6. Turning setbacks into strength. A Stoic approach to adversity. We find tranquility in chaos, forging virtuous friendships, grounding ourselves in the 4 Stoic virtues, and learning to resist the world's relentless pressures. Now, we face a truth we all know too well: life doesn't always go as planned. Setbacks, whether small frustrations or life-altering losses, are inevitable. But here's the Stoic secret: they're also opportunities. Today, we'll explore how to turn setbacks into strength, using the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus to transform adversity into growth. The Stoics didn't see setbacks as failures, but as tests of character, chances to practice virtue in the heat of the moment. In Epictetus's discourses, we find practical tools for facing life's challenges, not by avoiding them, but by embracing them with clarity and courage. Let's walk this path together, weaving ancient insights with modern practices to make this philosophy your own. The Stoic view of setbacks: life is unpredictable. A job falls through, a relationship falters, a plan crumbles. These moments can feel like punches to the gut, leaving us reeling. But the Stoics saw things differently. To them, setbacks aren't personal attacks. They're part of the natural flow of life, governed by the rational order of the universe. Epictetus, who endured slavery and exile, said, "There is only one way to happiness, and that is to cease worrying about things which are beyond the power of our will." This is the Stoic mindset: what happens to us isn't as important as how we respond. A setback isn't good or bad in itself, it's raw material. The question is, what will you make of it? Marcus Aurelius, who faced war, betrayal, and the loss of loved ones, wrote in his Meditations, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This is the heart of turning setbacks into strength, seeing obstacles not as dead ends, but as paths to resilience. Step 1. Reframe the setback with wisdom. The first step is to use wisdom to reframe the situation. When something goes wrong, our instinct is to label it as bad, a failure, a disaster, a reason to despair. But Stoicism teaches us to pause and question that label. Is this truly bad, or is it just hard? Is it a catastrophe, or an opportunity to grow? Seneca, who faced exile and the constant threat of death under Nero, wrote, "We are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more from imagination than from reality." How often do we amplify a setback by spinning stories in our minds? Wisdom cuts through that fog. It asks, what's the reality here? What can I learn? Try this next time you face a setback, say, a project that flops or a rejection. Write down the facts, not the emotions, not the what ifs, just what happened. Then ask, what's in my control now? Maybe it's learning a new skill, seeking feedback, or simply moving forward with dignity. This simple act of reframing shifts you from victim to agent. Step 2. Face it with courage. Once you've reframed the setback, courage steps in to carry you forward. Courage isn't about feeling fearless. It's about acting despite fear. Epictetus taught, "You have strength to endure more than you think." A setback might sting, but it can't break you unless you let it. Think of Marcus Aurelius, scribbling in his tent while his empire teetered. He faced plague, rebellion, and personal loss. Yet he wrote, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." Courage meant staying true to his principles, even when the world seemed to crumble. Here's a modern example. A friend of mine lost her job unexpectedly. The fear was real: bills, uncertainty, self-doubt. But she leaned into Stoic courage. She acknowledged the loss, then focused on what she could do: update her resume, network, and keep learning. Within months, she landed a better role, not because the setback disappeared, but because she faced it head on. Next time you're knocked down, ask, what's one brave step I can take right now? It might be small, a phone call, an apology, a fresh start, but it's enough to keep you moving. Step 3. Act with justice. Setbacks don't just test us, they affect others too. A failed project impacts a team. A personal loss ripples through a family. This is where justice comes in. It's about responding in a way that's fair, not just to yourself, but to those around you. Epictetus reminded us, what need is there to be disturbed? It's not others who disturb you, but your own judgment. When setbacks make us lash out or withdraw, we risk harming our relationships. Justice asks us to pause and consider, how can I act rightly, even in this pain? Maybe it's owning a mistake instead of blaming others, or offering support to someone else struggling. Even when you're hurting, justice keeps us connected, reminding us that we're part of something bigger. Step 4. Balance with temperance. Finally, temperance brings balance. Setbacks can push us to extremes, overworking to fix things, wallowing in self-pity, or obsessing over what went wrong. Temperance pulls us back to the middle, ensuring we respond with measure. Seneca advised, "Nothing is so wretched or foolish as to anticipate misfortunes." Temperance means not overreacting to a setback or letting it define you. It's about pacing yourself, learning without obsessing, and moving forward without rushing. A practical tip after a setback: set a time limit for reflection. Give yourself an hour to feel the sting, analyze what happened, and plan your next step, then let it go. This keeps you from spiraling and frees you to act. Internal dialogue. Engaging the setback. Let's pause for a moment of reflection. Picture a recent setback, a missed opportunity, a conflict, a plan gone awry. Let your ego speak. What does it say? This is unfair. I'm not enough. Why does this always happen? Now, gently challenge that voice. Ask, what can I control here? What can I learn? Imagine Marcus Aurelius sitting beside you, nodding. The obstacle is the way. He says, redirect your ego toward growth. This is hard, but I am stronger. What's my next step? This dialogue isn't about silencing your feelings. It's about guiding them toward wisdom and action. Journaling to transform. Setbacks. Journaling is a powerful Stoic tool for turning setbacks into strength. Try this prompt. Describe a recent setback in detail. What happened, and how did it make you feel? Apply the dichotomy of control. What was in your control? What wasn't? Identify one lesson and one action. What did this teach you? And what's one step you can take to move forward? Write without judgment. Just let the truth spill out. Over time, you'll see setbacks not as losses, but as stepping stones. A modern story of resilience. Let me share a story. A colleague once faced a public failure, a presentation that bombed in front of a big crowd. The embarrassment was crushing, and the temptation to hide was strong. But she leaned into Stoic principles. She reflected on what she could control: her preparation, her response, sought feedback with humility, and practiced delivering again in smaller settings. Months later, she gave a talk that earned a standing ovation. The setback didn't define her, it shaped her. That's what we're aiming for, not perfection, but progress. Every setback is a chance to grow stronger, wiser, more aligned with virtue. A bridge to integration. We've now explored tranquility, friendship, the virtues, resisting pressure, and transforming setbacks. These pieces are starting to fit together, forming a Stoic framework for living well. Next, we'll tie it all together with a focus on daily practices, how to weave these ideas into your routine to create a life of purpose and resilience. For now, hold this from Epictetus. You become what you give your attention to. A setback is just a moment. Your response is what shapes your life. Number 7. Living Stoicism. Every day a practice for life. We've traveled a rich path together, finding tranquility in the storm, forging friendships rooted in virtue, grounding ourselves in wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance, resisting external pressures, and turning setbacks into stepping stones. Now, we come to the heart of Stoicism, not just understanding these ideas, but living them. We will find a blueprint for weaving philosophy into the fabric of daily life. Today, we'll explore how to make Stoicism your compass, a practical guide for navigating each day with purpose and peace. The Stoics, Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus didn't just think about philosophy. They practiced it, moment by moment. Marcus wrote his meditations as a daily reflection. Seneca penned letters to guide his friends. And Epictetus taught his students to live with integrity, no matter the circumstances. Their wisdom isn't meant to sit on a shelf, it's meant to walk with you. Let's discover how to bring Stoicism into your mornings, your challenges, and your quiet evenings, turning ancient insights into modern habits. Stoicism as a way of life. Stoicism isn't a set of rules or a one-time fix. It's a practice, a way of being. Epictetus said, "No great thing is created suddenly, any more than a bunch of grapes or a fig. If you tell me that you desire a fig, I answer you that there must be time. Let it first blossom, then bear fruit, then ripen." Living stoically is like tending a garden. It takes daily care, patience, and commitment. But the harvest, peace, resilience, virtue is worth it. The beauty of Stoicism is its simplicity. You don't need to retreat to a monastery or memorize ancient texts. It's about small, intentional choices: how you start your day, how you respond to a rude email, how you reflect before sleep. These moments, strung together, shape a life aligned with reason and goodness. Morning, setting the tone with intention. Let's start with your mornings. The Stoics believed in beginning each day with purpose, preparing the mind for what lies ahead. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love." This isn't just poetry, it's a call to action. Here's a simple Stoic morning routine to ground you. 1 month. Pause and reflect. Before you reach for your phone, take 5 minutes to sit quietly. Ask yourself, what kind of person do I want to be today? Picture yourself acting with wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. This sets your intention, like tuning an instrument before playing. 2. Premeditatio malorum. This is a Stoic exercise, meaning premeditation of evils. Sounds grim, but it's empowering. Imagine the challenges you might face today: a tough meeting, a delayed flight, a moment of self-doubt. Visualize yourself handling them calmly, focusing only on what you can control. Seneca advised, "There is nothing so wretched or foolish as to anticipate misfortunes." This practice prepares you not to worry, but to respond. 3.1. Gratitude check. Write down or mentally list 3 things you're grateful for. They can be simple: a warm bed, a friend's smile, the chance to try again. Marcus used gratitude to anchor himself, reminding us, all you need are the certainty of judgment in the present moment, action for the common good, and an attitude of gratitude toward all that comes your way. Try this tomorrow morning. It takes less than 10 minutes, but it's like armor for your soul, readying you for the day's battles. During the day, practicing in the moment. Life doesn't wait for quiet moments, it throws challenges at you in the thick of things. This is where Stoicism shines, helping you stay steady amidst the noise. Epictetus taught, "You become what you give your attention to." If you yourself don't choose what thoughts and images you expose yourself to, someone else will. Let's make those choices deliberate. Here are 3 daily practices to live stoically. 1. The dichotomy of control. When stress hits, a deadline looms. Someone snaps at you, pause and ask, what's in my control here? Focus on your effort, your words, your attitude. Let go of the rest. This is your shield against chaos. As Epictetus reminds us, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. 2. Virtue in action. In every interaction, aim to embody one of the 4 virtues. Facing a tough decision. Lean on wisdom to see clearly, standing up for what's right. That's courage. Treating others fairly, that's justice. Saying no to excess, that's temperance. Small acts of virtue build a life of meaning. 3. Yes. The pause. When emotions flare, anger, frustration, anxiety, take a breath. Count to 5. Ask, is this reaction serving me? Seneca said, The greatest remedy for anger is delay. This tiny pause can shift you from reaction to response. I'll share a quick story. A few weeks ago, I got an email that threw me off. A client was upset, and I felt the urge to fire back defensively. Instead, I took a stoic pause. I asked, what's in my control? I could clarify, apologize, and learn. The outcome: a better conversation and a stronger relationship. That pause was pure stoic gold. Evening reflecting and growing. As the day winds down, the Stoics invite us to reflect. This isn't about dwelling on mistakes, but about learning and growing. Marcus Aurelius practiced this nightly, reviewing his actions to align closer with virtue. He wrote, "What need is there to weep over parts of life? The whole of it calls for tears." Yet he didn't wallow, he grew. Here's an evening reflection ritual, no? Review the day. Sit with a notebook or just your thoughts. Ask, what did I do well today? Where did I fall short? Be honest but kind, like a coach, not a critic. 2. Celebrate virtues. Note moments where you embodied wisdom, courage, justice, or temperance. Maybe you stayed calm in a heated moment or helped a friend without expecting anything back. Celebrate these wins. They're proof you're living stoically. 3. Plan for tomorrow. Identify one area to improve. Maybe it's listening more patiently or letting go of a worry. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Each reflection brings you closer to that freedom. Internal dialogue. Engaging your inner voice. Let's pause for a moment of inner dialogue. That voice in your head, the one that cheers you on or whispers doubts, needs your attention. Ask it, what pulled me off track today? Was it fear, distraction, or chasing something I can't control? Listen to the answer without judgment. Now, redirect it. What's one small way I can live better tomorrow? Maybe it's pausing before reacting or choosing gratitude over complaint. Picture Seneca nodding beside you, saying, "You don't need to be perfect, just better than you were yesterday." This dialogue is your daily training ground, where your ego learns to align with virtue. Journaling for daily practice. Journaling ties these practices together. Here's a prompt to make stoicism a habit. Morning, write one sentence about the person you want to be today. Example today: I'll act with patience and focus on what I can control. Evening, answer 3 questions. What went well? Where did I struggle? How can I improve tomorrow? Keep it simple, 5 minutes total, over weeks. You'll see patterns, growth, and a life more aligned with Stoic principles. A modern Stoic story. Let me share a story. A friend of mine, overwhelmed by a demanding job, started practicing Stoicism daily. Mornings. She'd set an intention: I'll focus on my effort, not the outcome. During the day, she'd pause before reacting to stress, asking, what's in my control? At night, she'd reflect on her wins and missteps. Over time, she didn't just survive her job, she thrived, finding peace and purpose in the chaos. That's the power of living Stoicism every day, a bridge to purpose. We've now built a framework: tranquility, friendship, virtues, resilience, and daily practice. Next, we'll explore how to align these practices with a deeper sense of purpose, asking, what does it mean to live a good life? The Stoics have answers, and they're waiting for us. For now, hold this from Marcus Waste. No more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. Each day is a chance to be that person. Number 8. The Good Life, Stoic Style. A purpose worth living for. We've built something beautiful together, tranquility to steady our hearts, friendships to lift our spirits, virtues to guide our actions, resilience to face pressures, strength to transform setbacks, and daily practices to weave it all into our lives. Now, we arrive at a question that ties it all together. What does it mean to live a good life in Stoicism? This isn't about wealth, fame, or fleeting pleasures. It's about purpose, virtue, and living in harmony with nature. Let's explore this vision, guided by Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, and find ways to make it real in our modern world. Epictetus and Discourses shines a light on this idea, urging us to align our actions with reason and goodness. The Stoics believe that the good life isn't something we chase, it's something we create, moment by moment, through our choices. Now is about crafting that life, one that feels rich, meaningful, and true, no matter what the world throws our way. What is the good life for the Stoics? The good life is simple yet profound. It's a life lived in accordance with nature, human nature, which is rational and social, and the nature of the universe, which is ordered and purposeful. Epictetus put it bluntly, what need is there to weep over parts of life? The whole of life calls for tears, unless you live it as it should be lived. The good life, he says, is one where we focus on what's in our control, our character, our actions, our virtues, and let go of the rest. Marcus Aurelius echoed this in his Meditations. If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. The good life is about integrity acting in alignment with wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance, no matter the circumstances. Seneca added, the happy life is to have a mind that is free, lofty, fearless, and steadfast, a mind that is serene and untroubled. Happiness, in Stoicism, isn't about what you have, it's about who you are. This vision can feel radical in our world, where success often means more money, more likes, more stuff. But the Stoics invite us to redefine success as inner freedom, as living each day with purpose and peace. The pillars of the good life. So, how do we build this life? Let's break it down into 3 Stoic pillars, rooted in Epictetus' Discourses, with practical steps to bring them alive. 1. Living with virtue. Virtue is the cornerstone of the good life. Wisdom helps us see clearly. Courage gives us strength to act. Justice ensures we treat others fairly, and temperance keeps us balanced. Epictetus taught, no man is free who is not master of himself. Every choice, how you respond to a rude comment, how you spend your time, how you handle a setback, is a chance to practice virtue. Practice each morning. Pick one virtue to focus on. Maybe today is about courage, speaking up in a meeting, or facing a fear. Tomorrow, it might be justice, listening to someone without judgment. Track these moments in a journal, noting how they feel. Over time, virtue becomes second nature. 2. Accepting what comes. The Stoics believe the universe is governed by a rational order, call it fate, providence, or nature. The good life means accepting what happens, not with resignation, but with trust. Marcus wrote, everything suits me that suits your designs, O my universe. This isn't blind optimism. It's a choice to see every moment as an opportunity to practice virtue. Practice when something unexpected happens, a delay, a loss, a surprise pause, and say, this is my chance to practice patience, courage, or wisdom? Try writing a one-sentence reflection today. When event happened, I chose to respond with virtue. This shifts your mindset from resistance to acceptance. 3. Focusing on the present. The good life lives in the now. Seneca warned, "You live as if you were destined to live forever. No thought of your frailty ever enters your head. We waste time worrying about the future or regretting the past, but the present is where we act, where we love, where we grow." Practice. Set aside 5 minutes each day for a present moment. Check in. Close your eyes, breathe deeply, and notice what's around you: the warmth of your coffee mug, the sound of birds, the rhythm of your breath. Ask, what can I do right now to live well? This anchors you in the only moment you control. A story of the good life. Let me share a story. A friend of mine was stuck in a job that drained her. Long hours, toxic dynamics, she felt trapped. Then she started practicing Stoicism. Each morning, she'd set an intention: today, I'll act with integrity, no matter what. She focused on what she could control: her effort, her kindness to colleagues. When frustrations hit, she'd pause, breathe, and ask, what's the virtuous response over time? She found peace, even in that tough environment. Eventually, she left for a better role, but the real victory was her inner shift. She was living the good life, right there in the struggle. This is what Stoicism offers: not a perfect life, but a purposeful one. Internal dialogue, finding your purpose. Let's pause for a moment of inner dialogue, that voice in your head, the one chasing more or doubting your worth. What's it saying right now? Maybe it's whispering, I'm not doing enough, or I need to achieve X to be happy. Gently challenge it. Ask, is this thought aligned with virtue? Is it pulling me toward wisdom, courage, justice, or temperance? Now, redirect it. What's one thing I can do today to live well, to be the person I admire? Picture Epictetus sitting beside you, smiling. You don't need to be great, he says. Start where you are and be good. This dialogue is your compass, guiding you toward the good life. Journaling for purpose. Journaling is your Stoic ally here. Try this prompt. Morning. Write one sentence about the kind of person you want to be today. Example. Today, I'll act with courage by facing one challenge head-on. Evening, reflect on 3 questions. How did I practice virtue today? How did I accept what came? How did I stay present? Write freely, without judgment. This practice takes just a few minutes, but builds a habit of purposeful living. Over weeks, you'll see your days align with a good life. The Stoic Promise. The good life. Stoic style isn't about escaping pain or piling up pleasures. It's about finding meaning in every moment. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Live a good life. If there are gods and they are just, they will not care how devout you have been, but will welcome you based on the virtues you have lived by." This is the Stoic promise: live with virtue, and you'll find peace, purpose, and freedom. In our final paragraph, we'll reflect on how to sustain this Stoic path long-term, building a legacy of wisdom and goodness. For now, hold this from Seneca. As long as you live, keep learning how to live. Each day is a chance to get closer to that goal. Number 9. Sustaining the Stoic path, a legacy of wisdom. We've traveled a profound path together, finding tranquility amidst life's storms, forging friendships rooted in virtue, embracing wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance, resisting external pressures, transforming setbacks into strength, weaving Stoic practices into daily life, and defining the good life as one of purpose and integrity. Now, as we close this journey, we turn to the final question: how do we sustain this Stoic path? Not just for a day or a week, but for a lifetime. How do we build a legacy of wisdom that endures in Epictetus's discourses? We find a call to persistence, a reminder that Stoicism isn't a quick fix, but a lifelong practice. Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus didn't just stumble into wisdom, they cultivated it daily, through discipline and reflection. This paragraph is about carrying their torch forward, making Stoicism a living, breathing part of who you are. Let's explore how to sustain this path, with practical tools and a vision for a life well lived. The Stoic commitment, a lifelong practice. Stoicism is a marathon, not a sprint. Epictetus said, "No great thing is created suddenly. There must be time. Let it first blossom, then bear fruit, then ripen. Wisdom, like fruit, grows through consistent care." The good news: you don't need to be perfect, just persistent. Each small choice, each moment of virtue, builds a life of meaning. Think of Marcus Aurelius, scribbling in his meditations amid the chaos of war and empire. He wasn't writing for fame, he was reminding himself to stay true. Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. He wrote, "Be one." That's the Stoic commitment to show up, day after day, striving to be your best self. Seneca, too, knew this wasn't easy. As long as you live, keep learning how to live. He urged, the Stoic path is one of growth, not arrival. It's about embracing the journey, flaws and all, with the courage to keep going. Building a Stoic foundation. To sustain Stoicism, we need a foundation that holds strong through life's ups and downs. Here are 3 pillars to anchor your practice, drawn from the Stoics and adapted for today. 1. Daily discipline. The rhythm of virtue. Discipline is the backbone of the Stoic life. It's not about rigid rules, but about creating habits that align with virtue. Epictetus taught, "You become what you give your attention to." By giving your attention to Stoic practices daily, you shape a life of wisdom. Practice, commit to a simple Stoic routine. Mornings, set an intention. Today, I'll act with courage and focus on what I can control. During the day, pause before reacting, asking, "What's the virtuous choice?" Evenings, reflect, "What did I do well? Where can I grow?" These habits, intention, pause, reflection, are your daily anchors. Try this. Pick one practice from our journey, say, the dichotomy of control or gratitude, and commit to it for 30 days. Write it down, track it, and notice how it shifts your perspective. Small steps, repeated, build a strong foundation. 2. Community strength in connection. The Stoics weren't solitary hermits, they valued community. Seneca wrote, "Associate with those who will make you better." Surrounding yourself with people who inspire virtue, friends, mentors. Even the Stoic legends through their writings keeps you grounded. Practice, seek out a Stoic community, whether in person or online. Join a discussion group, follow Stoic thinkers, or share what you're learning with a friend. If that's not possible, let Marcus, Seneca, and Epictetus be your companions. Read a page of their work daily. Their words are a conversation across time, reminding you you're not alone. A personal story: I once felt stuck, overwhelmed by work and doubt. Joining a Stoic reading group changed everything. We'd discuss passages, share struggles, and hold each other accountable. It wasn't just inspiring, it was a lifeline. Find your tribe, even if it's just one person who gets it. 3. Reflection. The art of course correction. Reflection is the Stoic tool for growth. Marcus practiced it nightly, reviewing his actions to align closer with virtue. What need is there to weep over parts of life, he asked. Reflection isn't about guilt, it's about clarity, a chance to course correct and grow. Practice. Make evening reflection a ritual. Ask 3 questions. What did I do well today? Where did I fall short? How can I improve tomorrow? Write or think through your answers. Over time, this builds self-awareness, helping you stay true to the Stoic path. Internal dialogue, sustaining your inner voice. Let's pause for one final moment of inner dialogue. That voice in your head, the one that cheers or doubts, what's it saying now? Maybe it's whispering, "This is hard," or "I'm not sure I can keep this up." Gently challenge it. Is this thought helping me live well? Is it aligned with virtue? Now, redirect it. I don't need to be perfect. I just need to show up, one day at a time. Picture Marcus Aurelius nodding, his words echoing, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. This dialogue is your lifelong guide, keeping you steady through the years. Journaling for longevity. Journaling remains your Stoic ally. Here's a final prompt to sustain the path. Weekly reflection. At the end of each week, write about one moment where you lived stoically. Maybe you stayed calm under pressure or acted with kindness. What did it teach you? Long-term vision. Once a month, reflect on this. What does my good life look like in a year and 5 years? How can Stoicism help me get there? These entries become a record of your growth, a map of your Stoic journey. A modern Stoic's legacy. Let me share one last story. A colleague, inspired by Stoicism, started small morning intentions, evening reflections. Over years, it transformed her. She faced layoffs, health scares, and family challenges with a calm strength that inspired everyone around her. Her legacy wasn't wealth or fame, it was the way she lived with integrity, kindness, and resilience. That's the Stoic legacy we're building, not just for ourselves, but for those we touch. As we close the journey, remember this from Seneca: life is long enough, and it has been given in sufficiently generous measure to allow the accomplishment of the very greatest things, if the whole of it is well invested. You've invested this hour with me, and that's no small thing. You've learned to find tranquility, nurture friendships, live by virtue, resist pressures, transform setbacks, practice daily, and aim for the good life. Now, it's about carrying it forward. The Stoics don't promise a life without pain. They promise a life worth living. Each day, you have a choice to live with purpose, to act with virtue, to be the person you admire. That's your legacy, and it starts now. Thank you for walking this path with me. Keep going, Marcus. Seneca and Epictetus are cheering you on. Live well, my friend, and we'll see you on the journey. As we draw this journey to a close, my friend, let's slow our steps, letting the rush of the day slip away like sand through gentle fingers. You've walked with Epictetus, felt the steady wisdom of Marcus and Seneca, and woven their Stoic truths into your heart tranquility. Friendship, resilience, purpose. Feel that warmth now, settling deep within, a quiet strength that no storm can shake. You've learned to master your mind, to stand firm in chaos, to choose virtue over noise. That's no small thing, it's a seed planted, ready to grow with each day you tend it. Picture a still lake at dusk, its surface smooth, reflecting a sky painted in soft pinks and purples, each ripple fading into peace. You don't need to fight the world's clamor anymore. You carry a calm that holds fast, a light that guides you home. Take a slow breath, feel it fill you, then release, carrying away any lingering tension. This path, this stoic way, is yours now, a gentle anchor for life's waves. Keep journaling, keep reflecting, keep choosing what's in your control. You're stronger than you know, and you're not alone. The Stoics walk with you, whispering courage. So, rest now, let the day's weight dissolve, and hold this truth: you are enough. Sleep well, live well, my friend, until we meet again. Sweet dreams.